else wanna be. Feeling the boring weekend, we make it fun. All kind of crazy, kind of morbid, no explanation. We could laugh till we stink deep in our meal. Oh, don't tell me we won't feel nothing. Don't speak left for the one on me. No one could show you degree. Speed it up for that god dancing, shout it out. You want on the screen, we gonna start it to say rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed. I say rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed. I say rock and roll indeed. Let it be funky, let it be freaky between you and me. Feeling the boring weekend, we make it fun. Oh, follow my beat, keep on rolling. Happy is so cheap, we can laugh till we stink deep in our meal. Don't tell me you won't feel nothing. Don't speak left for that one on me. No one could show you degree. Speed it up for that god dancing, shout it out. You want on the screen, we gonna start it to sing. Rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed. I say rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed, rock and roll indeed. I say rock and roll indeed. Won't feel nothing, don't speak loud for the one me. No one could show you degree. Speed it up for that god dancing, shout it out. You want on the screen, we gonna start it to sing. 1, 2,